Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Friday. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with A & Crew Brew. My name is Vinnie, Parise, and I am joined today by Short Sky and Beer Baron as we get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. The Devils, they're looking for a big win against the Blue Jackets, a much-needed victory for the New Jersey Devils. Short Sky, Beer Baron, how we doing, fellas?
I'm doing good. Hoping that the Devils can pull something out tonight, because that would be, with the last game on Wednesday, that was bad. Beer Baron, how's the bar scene over there in American Whiskey?
American Whiskey's bumping. The people are happy, man. I by the way, Black Friday, I wore my blacked out jersey. This is my Patrick Elias blacked out jersey.
Love it.
By the way, this is what I was hoping they would do when they released the blacked out jersey. I think they're going to wear the jersey today, which is fine. But the bar scene's good. The streets seem to be optimistic and happy. Team had a nice long meeting, accordingly, to everybody yesterday, where they were kind of calling each other out and basically telling each other, get your stuff together. That game against Detroit was an absolute embarrassment. So they gotta get it together, and they gotta get it together real quick. Otherwise, there's going to either be sweeping changes, hopefully, and that could cost somebody their job, or I don't know what. Or they're going to find yourselves in the basement in a hard time trying to get your way out.
And I know we don't like to make excuses on this show for anything in any way, shape, or form. The Devils have played like crap for a while now, and it's a couple games in a row outside of the Pittsburgh game that things haven't been going well. But I'm looking at the scores right now, and the Red Wings are out to a 2-0 lead over the nasty Boston Bruins. So, and so you start to wonder, are the Devils, is it a little bit of bad luck in addition to what's going on with, how kind of bad they've been playing? I mean, where are you guys at with this team right now?
Isn't that the saying, you make your own luck? Right,
yep.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's how you get lucky. Preparation meets opportunity. But at the same time, there's always lucky bounces, things like that happen. But by the way, you can see I have my daughter with me here, so it's a family affair. I drove in with Miss Wu today. My wife is here. My kid's here. It's a big event. But a huge event. But
it's a podcast family affair.
It is a podcast family affair. But luck is one of those things. You make your own luck, and right now, the way they've been playing, of course they're going to have bad luck when you're out of position, when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, when you're being lazy on the puck and not really winning those battles. I mean, they want to get lucky. They need to start working harder, and it's just preparation meets opportunity. That's it. That's what they have to do. They have to go out and execute.
For sure, Shorts Guy. Where are you at on the team?
Yeah, it after Wednesday, that was just a debacle, 4-0 loss to Detroit. But we were talking Wednesday before the game that Detroit's another one of those up-and-coming teams like the Devils are. It's a team that we're going to be battling with for the next bunch of years with all hope, as really good battles. But a 4-0 loss. The big telling thing for me was immediately after the game. Lindy Ruff's comments were, "We got what we deserved." He was not happy. Immediately not happy, and he knew that the Devils just did not do what they had to do. It was just a failure all around. Beer Baron's right. You kind of make your own luck with your preparation. There's something not going right now. I mean, we can harp and we can say, oh, we have injuries and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But at some point, the rubber's got to meet the road. And I've been trying to be optimistic, saying it's still early, but it's getting to the point now, December's a couple days away, and the Devils just look they just don't look good right now, and something's got to change. And I know that Tom Fitzgerald will do something if it needs to be done. And it may be us saying goodbye to a player we love, but the players have it in their hands to make this change, because we all know, and they all know, that they are capable of so much more than what they're putting out on the ice right now.
Absolutely, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, too, Lindy Ruff's got to be upset with last game, and he's got to be upset with the way the players are playing, and they are underperforming. But at the same time, he's also got to start worrying about his job. It wasn't too long ago that the crowd was saying fire Lindy, those chants could easily start coming back, because when fans get frustrated, one of the first people they'll start to go after is the coach. Second person is a goaltender. Third person is probably a defenseman. They're going to start to get restless. And I feel like the fan base they're teetering, right? We said it on Sunday, Don't panic yet, but it's getting really darn close.
I think Wednesday I think was a potential watershed moment to start getting nervous with the 4-0 loss. But I also think, though, that Lindy has Jack's vote of confidence, and I think that means a lot.
That's huge.
That is huge with this team right now. If Jack wants Lindy to stay, I want to say that Lindy is going to get all the opportunity in the world. But we also know that Lindy did a lot with this team last year, and it's on these players right now. And the fact that there was that big meeting, I think, is fantastic.
Absolutely. And, I wonder where you guys stand on this. The Blue Jackets, their last game, they went into it on a 9-game losing streak, right? And they just absolutely beat the doors off of the Chicago Blackhawks. Line scored, and, he had been a healthy scratch the game before that. So it kind of looked like the team responded to what they were doing. Are you a little happy that the Blue Jackets ended what was a terrible, terrible stretch for them? Because nothing would be worse than the Blue Jackets coming to the Rock right now, riding a 10-game losing streak. And I would almost bet money that they beat the Devils if that were the case. But now's a chance for the Devils to beat a Blue Jackets team. They're not dealing with that burden of the losing streak anymore, but they are a significantly weaker team on paper. Beer Baron, I'll let you respond first, coming at us from American Whiskey.
Yeah, you bring up such a great point, because a team that's wounded the way they were and coming in on that 9-game losing streak, Chicago's dealing with their own problems. I know Taylor Hall, and I saw you write this on Twitter, you feel bad. He's done for the year. After that MVP year, his career is just taken such a hard left turn. Irregardless of what happened at the end of his tenure as a Devil, you don't wish ill on anybody to the extent of having to lose an entire year of their career. But with all that said, I'm glad they beat the doors off of Chicago, because they would have come in here a heck of a lot hungrier than maybe they are today. The Devils need to have that hunger, though. They need to come out. They need to be that team that's looking to beat the doors off somebody. And the thing is, they have the talent to do it. It's not like the old days where the team was depleted of talent and you'd have one or two guys that could really carry the team. No, there's a lot of talent on this team. And Andre Palat, scored a goal the other day, but some of these guys got to get going. You need to start to see more of an effort on the score sheet than just he battled hard. He was in the corners and doing his great. That's great. Start putting it in the back of the net. Defensively, start playing sound positional hockey, for crying out loud. And it's not just the young guys, because everybody's like, oh, the young guys. No, it's some of the veterans too that are pulling themselves way out of position, leaving our goaltenders exposed. And as for the goaltenders, make a timely save. They're not playing bad. They're not playing good. It's right in that middle, because that 2 of the goals against the Red Wings, Vitek, come on. You got to make that save. That weird backhand goal that I forget who it was that scored. And Vitek just basically opened up his 5-hole like they're trying to park a 747 in there. I mean, you gotta do something. He's got to come up with these saves when the team has a breakdown. So I don't know. They got to come out hungrier than the Blue Jackets. That's a long answer for your question, but they just got to come out hungrier.
Absolutely. Short Scott.
Well, I just want to respond to something what Beer Baron said. Our defense is not helping our goaltenders a lot. So when the goalie lets in a soft goal, it looks even worse.
Yep.
If the defense is there and the goalies are getting the support and they let in a soft goal occasionally, it could be like, all right, well, whatever, it's a soft goal. But it's magnified more when it's just a total team defensive breakdown, and a lot more goals are going in than should be going in. So I'm all team goalie. Vinny, you and I talk about this all the time. So I'll be critical about the goalies when it's needed, but at the same time, when they're not getting any help from their defense and it's making them look silly, I will always err on the side of caution with the goalies. But I am happy that the Jackets, broke their streak, but they also now have confidence. So that's a bit of a scary thing coming into today, because they have a little bit of confidence of what they can and probably should be doing in this league. So the Devils need to come out and match that confidence and match that intensity. And you know what? Let's score the first goal. Please let us score the first goal instead of giving it up, because we're always, when you're chasing the game, I can tell you this still from my days playing now, when you're chasing the game, that game feels so much different than when you have the lead. Just score the first goal and take command of the game.
Can I just add something really quick?
Sure.
That right there is such a huge point. And I think it's Eric Hollow that said after a game, he was like, we've been playing a little arrogant. And I wonder if that's a piece of it, where he said we're playing a little arrogant, and they're like, oh, if we get scored on first, it's not a big deal. And they're playing, you know what I mean?
No, it's
like
a big
where
deal.
it becomes
it's
a
huge deal.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I wonder if they're playing with this mentality, like, it's not a big deal. If they score first, we have enough firepower to come back. It's not a big deal. And in that is that arrogance that he's talking about. So I wonder if that's a part of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it probably is.
Yeah, don't think you could always come back, because recently they can't.
Yeah, and last year they did so much. I think that sparked a lot of the arrogance that you talk about, Beer Baron. I agree. What were you going to say, Shorts Guy?
I was going to say just what you were going to say, Vinny. It's last year's comeback kids all season long that that bred that arrogance, and we're not able to do it this year. We have not been able to be that same comeback kid team that I wish we were, because we'd be much better off in the standings right now if we were able to do that.
Absolutely, and you wonder when they get guys like Nico Hischier and Timo Meier back, that'll obviously push a bunch of people into their proper spots in terms of the lineup and the forward pair. But Shorts Guy, I'm curious. We've been talking on the show a lot about Timo Meier and his absence over the last handful of days. It really did sound like it was going to be a short-term thing. Those were Lindy Ruff's exact words when it first happened, and I literally said that I'm predicting he plays tonight, and this was like 4 games ago now. And he's not playing today. It's like, where is Timo Meier? What is going on? Why can't they ever just be honest with what's going on? Like, it's kind of getting to annoy me.
It is frustrating.
Yeah, no, it is very annoying. And again, we used to only deal with this type of vagueness when it came to the playoffs, but now it's regular season. It's just like, I'm with you, Vinny, and Beer Baron, you're probably the same way. I would like to know the actual prognosis of what in the hell the injury is, and how long he's going to be out. Unless it's one of those weird injuries where it's literally a day-to-day, and if that's the case, just say day-to-day. He's got a lower body, he's day-to-day, he might come back today. But it's frustrating, because I feel like we're seeing just a bad what's the word I'm looking for here? This team is like a shell of what it could be because of these injuries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, we even said on the Sunday podcast, like, this team has never, at any point during the season, played with the full complement of players that they had originally intended to. So Miller was out for a while. Nico's been out for a while. And the thing about it is, I know there's a lot of people clamoring for Nico to get back sooner than later, but if he's dealing with a concussion injury, which by all means seems like it is, that's nothing you want to rush back from. Because if you watch what happened to Sidney Crosby, when Crosby had those concussion issues, he lost an entire year, I think like a year and a half, because of concussion issues. And the last thing you want to do is you don't want to put their long-term health in jeopardy. He'll be all right. Like, he'll be out for a couple of games. He'll be out for a couple of weeks, even a couple of months. But in the grand scheme of things, you want the guy to be able to have a long and healthy career and then a long and healthy life afterwards. The thing that Sam brought up, too, the other day that I've been constantly thinking about is the shades of the last year's Florida Panthers. If this team can start to get everybody back and start to get everybody healthy, they 1,000% could have that similar type of role, where all of a sudden they go from being out of it to being a true contender and finding their stride late in the season.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you start putting these guys back into the lineup, and we start thinking about that dream lineup that they had, on opening day when it all started to begin. And, they had a really good record. When Jack Hughes first went down, they were 7-3-2 or 7-3-1, whatever it is. And they've only gotten 1 win since that. I think 2 wins since that now with Pittsburgh and Chicago. But it's one of those things, like, just once they get going, I feel like it could be like a train like it was last year that doesn't stop. but they just have to get in some kind of – there's been no rhythm. Have they won 3 in a row?
No.
They might have won 3 in a row one time. They definitely didn't get to 4, though. And last year, 4-game winning streaks were, like, common.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like you went in expecting – there was no really nervousness into any game because even if they lost, you were like, okay, it's – you know, every team loses sometimes. But this Devils team has lost more than sometimes to start the season. And, you know, I do think they got the right opponent coming in. Like, if you can't beat down the Blue Jackets today, then I think it's going to be a little more glaring that there are actually issues more than just injuries.
Yeah, if we fall flat on our face today, similar to the way we fell flat on Wednesday, then absolutely there are going to have to be changes to be made. And Vinny, I know we said it Wednesday, but the American Thanksgiving, which happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there as well, is always a benchmark time. So maybe this is that benchmark time now. It's like, if we fall flat on our face tonight, then something's got to change, and a change is going to have to be made.
And it can't be excuse city. You can't.
No,
you could only say
not at all.
Injuries for so long because after a while, then what are you really saying about the guys that are on the ice that are out there, playing while these guys are injured? Are you saying I guess that team is not good enough then? Because bad news for you, if you bring everybody back and this team is still not playing what they're supposed to be doing or doing what they're supposed to be doing, then it's a reflection on a lot more than just like, oh, they had a few injuries. Yeah. Because that excuse only goes so far. Like, guys have to step up, coaching has to step up, and there has to be more than just a power play to hang your hat on. Because right now, even the power play is starting to cool off, which you knew was going to happen. You know,
it's not the time.
Yeah, they have the right pieces. They have to start playing, and this is coming from the team. This is not like me sitting down and doing, this is exactly what the Devils need to do. All the players came out of that meeting yesterday and they were like, we need to play fundamental hockey. Like, we need to go back to like just playing the right way. And why they got away from it, who knows? But if the players are coming out and they're seeing this and they're saying it, then the only thing you can do is you have to do it.
They've got to do something.
Yeah, and God forbid they go out and they fall flat on their face after openly telling the world that you just had this big, giant meeting where you were calling each other out and really hashing things out. If you go and fall on your face, it's going to look terrible. It's going to be like, all right, well then, Lindy, there's a huge disconnect in this locker room, and apparently your message is not getting to these players, and there's a problem that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. And, they have two second, I guess one's a rookie technically and one's a second-year player technically, but Kevin Ball and Luke Hughes, they're both young on defense. You kind of expected stuff like this to happen in terms of maybe not being quite as sound as they were last year, and it's going to take some adjustment, but in the long term, it could be really, really good for them. Are you guys kind of in that mold that maybe cruising through this year wasn't necessarily like the best thing for them? Like, now Jack Hughes, he knows what it's like, hey, we have to play like this, otherwise we're not going to win. I think there is some kind of a level of positive that could be taken away from the first, whatever we are in the season, 15 games or whatever.
Yeah, there's something to be said to that these guys are learning on the fly, but at the same time, it's unneeded pressure on these guys to be perfect at this point.
Yeah,
because they're playing far from it. So now all of a sudden they have to play perfect in order just to maybe get to an overtime at this point, which is not good for your development. They're not going to be able to comfortably develop as far as I'm concerned. So they've got to do something. They've got to do something.
That's playing comfortable, I think, is the key word there, or the key phrase there, because it feels like these guys are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Hey, there goes a tower. Somebody's getting a tower. Somebody's getting a tower. Some Ann Crew brew here, by the way. Flows like beer flows like wine. Yeah, and the fans flock here like the salmon of Capistrano. It's pretty amazing. But anyways, you look around the crowd here, and everybody here is excited for the game because we all know the potential of this team. We all know what they're capable of. The defensemen playing in this non-comfortable, like, wow, you're really going to have your feet in the fire kind of way. it's good and bad. Like yes, it could be bad because it could screw with their mentality of like, okay, if I make a mistake, that's going to be magnified, and then that starts to creep into their game because then that mentality starts to really like, oh my God, now I can't make a mistake. You play a little tight, but at the same time, on the flip side of that, if they're being coached the right way, if they're being told the right way, and if they have the right personality, then they understand like everything that happens is a learning opportunity. And if I fail or if I mess up, the worst thing I could do is repeat that failure. So figure out a way to learn from my mistakes, grow and develop and get better. So you hope that that's their mentality and not, I'm going to go out there and play afraid. Especially somebody like Luke, who it doesn't seem like he's playing afraid. Like he's still contributing and like bringing his offensive game. I just think they just, listen, man, they need to tweak a few things. And they might even need to make a move to bring in somebody like a Tanev who can be a physical force on the back end. Because some of these games, they were just getting manhandled. And that doesn't do much for your psyche as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So everybody who's watching on YouTube, throw your predictions in the chat right now. We will go through. We will go through and read a couple of them on the air. Of course, Beer Baron brought up that somebody ordered a Tower of and Crew Brew. So guess what, Shorts Guy? It's slogan time. Join our crew today and drink and Crew Brew, where we make winning memories together. One crew at a time. And Crew Brew. Shorts Guy, prediction.
I love it. Oh, prediction. All right, so there goes the camera.
The camera's gone wonky.
Mr. Woodwall.
Yeah.
Can you please go play goalie for the Devils?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what. There's the prediction that we want our goaltenders to be as sturdy and awesome as this Woodwall. And there's a little beautiful woman standing right there. The camera's.
Look at that.
She could build something like this, even though she didn't.
Oh, she could. She absolutely could.
But yeah. So sorry. Go ahead, Short.
All right. My prediction. I'll go 4-2 Devils. Just get out of this slide. Just start doing things right.
There you go. Beer Baron, you want to throw in a prediction?
Yeah, as much as I hate predictions because I seem to get them wrong all the time.
Join the club. Just accept it.
I'm going to say Devils go out there, they score the first goal, and they win a comfortable 3-1. A 3-1 game where they almost get the 4-1. They almost get the empty netter at the end. But I'll say they get the 3-1 victory. But it's a pretty sound victory.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. We got a couple predictions in the chat. Max says 6-3 Devils. Felix says 6-2 Devils. James says 4-1 Devils. Alan says 4-2 Devils. I actually really like the 6-2 prediction. Shane says 4-2 Devils. I believe the Devils are – I'm going to say 6-2. I want them to go out there. I want to see Jack Hughes and all them do what they can to really, really put their foot on the gas. If they play the way they did against Pittsburgh, against Columbus, they'll smoke them. And, because Columbus is a little bit, deficient in talent compared to a team like Pittsburgh. So you go out there, you take care of Fantilli. Don't let Line get open shots on net. And you should be good to go as long as you contain like a Werenski on the back end. Should be able to score some goals. So I'm going 6-2 Devils. I would love a nice complete win like that where they kind of dominate. Selecta says 4-2 Devils. Joseph says 5-0 Devils. Oh, I'd love to see them get a shutout after getting shut out themselves. It was the first time they were shut out since the end of the 21-22 season against the Red Wings. So it was over a calendar year that the Devils were shut out. There's kind of a little bit of an asterisk next to it. They scored a garbage goal when they were getting killed by Winnipeg last year. He sure scored with like 14 seconds left to keep that streak alive.
I remember that.
Look at that. So there's a little bit of an asterisk next to that for last year, but it counts just the same. And then of course our buddy Sam Wu, he gave a very, very atypical Sam Wu prediction, believing that the Devils are going to win this game by a final score of 9-2. So, if they were to come out and put out together a win like that, it would be an even more explosive victory than the Blue Jackets had over the Blackhawks in their most recent game. But before we head out of here, we'll start with you, Beer Baron from American Whiskey. Is there anything else you want to say, get off your chest before we head into this game?
Hey, listen, here are my beautiful wife, my daughter, my little ones at home. We came to the game with Miss Wu, and all I got to say is it's a family affair today. And the last thing I want to see is this team get embarrassed while my family is here. So get it together.
Get it together. Let's go, short guy.
I would actually be yelling, but I'm like,
I'll echo Beer Baron's words. Get it together. I want to see a good Devils victory today. And Vinny, I've got a question for you. How was Blackout Wednesday?
Blackout Wednesday was very, very eventful. There were some drinks had. There were some fun times. There was some darts played. It was a good time. There was some 2 a.m. McDonald's that was piping hot consumed.
Nice.
So it was a very atypical Blackout Wednesday here in the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
And for everybody watching on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is you consume the Let's Go Devils podcast, make sure you tune in after the game where Scotty of Sirius XM will recap the game that was. Hopefully it's a big New Jersey Devils victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody watching.
Yeah.
Enjoy the Black Friday matinee between the Devils and the Blue Jackets. They are wearing the black jerseys, so hopefully that brings them a little bit of magic. I know the fans don't love them, but the players do. Look good, feel good, play good. I kind of like them too. Now they've grown on me. They've grown on me. Yeah, me too. So, pull out a big win in the black jerseys today. And as always, let's go Devils.